Welcome, welcome, welcome to the FO show. This your boy FO back with another one. Hey, we got another chop session and have a special guest today. This man comes from Mullins, South Carolina, graduated from Mullins High School in 1973, where he was named All-State as a senior. He was a four-year starter at center for Campbell University from 1973 to 1977. He earned NAIA All-District honors each year from sophomore to senior. This man was named first team NAIA All-American, NAIA District 29 Player of the Year, District 29 Tournament MVP, finished ninth in the country in field goal percentage of 77. He had a school record for points, which was 1,957, and that stood for more than 3 decades, and had 1,148 rebounds in only 119 games. We got none other than Sam Staggers. Welcome to the show, man.
Okay, thanks for having me on your show today.
I am happy to have you. Hey, I was really excited about this interview because hey, you the biggest celebrity I got. So, so I was happy to have you get to talk about some things. Anybody don't know, this man is the father of my soon-to-be, hopefully, wife. So I got to ask him first. We got to do all that, but that's neither here nor there. Hey, so we're just going to start this off, man. Just want to tell us about yourself and your background.
Okay. Well, I was born in South Carolina in 1955. Grew up in a small town called Mullins. Maybe population probably around 30,000 people, where everybody knew everybody.
Right.
My mom and dad were very good church-going people. As a matter of fact, I grew up in the church, right, as usually most black families in the South. My mom, she stayed home most of the time because my dad was, I would say, as we call it, the breadwinner.
Right.
My father was an orderly at Mullins Hospital, and when the youngest child was probably about maybe 12 years old, then my mom took a job working at a local factory. So I would say we were like an average family in South Carolina back in the day. I wouldn't say that we were poor, but I wouldn't say that we were well off either. We had a very good family life, friends, church, basically helping the neighbors. So I would say I had a very good childhood growing up.
Right, you just real tall,
huh? Yeah, just real tall because my mother was tall. My mom was 5'11" and my dad was 6'3", so I guess that's why I was tall.
You ain't had no choice, huh?
Of course.
Okay. So what inspired you to play basketball?
Okay, first of all, my mom was a basketball player.
Okay.
Back in the day, and I was interested in music growing up. I wanted to play the saxophone because in our school, you would be put to tests. So these tests you would go to music class, and if you had a good ear for music, or if you were able to play the piano or certain instruments, they let us try. So I enjoyed playing the saxophone as a kid in school, and I wanted to be a musician. But growing up, when I was 13 years old, my mom brought us for Christmas, or I got for Christmas, a basketball and a goal. And my mom showed me how to dribble, how to shoot. And I really appreciate her for doing that because I was inspired by my mom because she was a basketball player. Right. Dad, on the other hand, was a baseball player. And he was back in the day when baseball was not integrated and they had the Negro League and things like that. But my dad, I think he could have played, but I think his parents were a little bit afraid of him traveling far away from home, so he never pursued that. So I think my mom was my greatest inspiration as far as getting involved in basketball.
All right. So what are some of the challenges you faced while pursuing your basketball career or your passion for it?
Okay, I think the biggest challenge was in South Carolina, probably you might not know, but most people might know this. The integrations of schools started in 1970. So let's say I started the school in 1961, and from 1961 up to 1970, it was all black school.
Okay.
And in 1970, the government decided that all schools should be integrated. So my biggest challenge for me was trying to excel in basketball, especially when the schools, they merged together. And you had to be, at that time, at least twice as good as the white kid on your team if you wanted to excel. So my goal, my objective was to be twice as good. And if I wanted to go to college, then I knew that I had to be good because my parents didn't have enough money to send me to college.
Right.
So I figured if I wanted to pursue my dream and continue in basketball, then I would have to excel and be better than the next kid if I wanted to go to college and receive a scholarship.
Okay, good. Where is Campbell University?
Campbell is located in Buies Creek, North Carolina, which is a small city. I would situate Buies Creek between Dunn and Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always see like the North Carolina, South Carolina. It's like they want to be one state. It seems like they got everything is to a person be one place and they end up another place. They even got the Carolina Panthers out. Where are they at? Carolina Panthers. Are they in North or South Carolina?
They are in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay. I think I knew that, but I can't ever remember. What's a pivotal moment or experience that significantly impacted your journey as far as pursuing your basketball career?
I would think by receiving a scholarship to college, being able to go to college, the choice of the college, because I had quite a few offers. And as you know, in the South back in those days, the parents were a little bit hesitant on what school that their child would choose. So I think the pivotal moment for me was choosing Campbell, because the coach's wife at Campbell told my mom that if I went to Campbell that I would be able to go to church, to a Baptist church, which I attended when I was a kid, that I would be able to continue to go to church. And my mother said, okay, I think this should be the school for you. So I think that was basically the pivotal moment in my life, because I was able to go to a school, predominantly white school, and be able to excel in that school as well after high school.
Okay. How were you accepted there as being a predominantly white school?
Okay, this might be a little funny. We'll have to throw a little joke in there. But when I arrived at Campbell, there were only 8 black girls in the whole school.
Wow.
And if you saw another black kid on campus, either he was an athlete or his dad was a minister or his dad was a lawyer. So, no, Campbell, and I must say this, and even when I started Campbell in 1973, I have never, during the 4 years that I was there, witnessed or had any type of racial dissension toward me, or I never felt like I was black at the college, knowing that I was black, but never any racism toward me or any other black students. We were accepted very well in that school.
Right.
And just putting a small note on that, because Campbell is also a Baptist college.
Okay.
And it was sort of a religious college, and every day we had to go to something called chapel, which is CEP, Cultural Enrichment Program. So they couldn't, maybe it was a type of racism that might have been a hidden racism, but I never witnessed or experienced any of that.
I mean, that's good, because a lot of people, especially back in them days, like, didn't have that in the South. I mean, you, like you said, you knew you was black in a white school. So,
exactly.
And that's not a cool way to feel, obviously. I mean, you don't want to feel like you're just being used for your talent. So look at this guy. He's big and tall and can jump real high. Maybe he can make us look better or whatever. But that's good. And because I know it's from my generation, I didn't experience a lot, really, any racism as far as blatant, because I'm from up north. I'm born in the 80s. So it wasn't that much that I felt that way. I went to a predominantly black school, so I didn't have to deal with that. And I always like to hear, and you told stories before I've heard, but I like to hear just how it was growing up, especially in the South, with that type of environment and how a person actually navigated it. So it's always interesting to hear. And so what would you think your most valuable lesson that you did learn and not throughout your whole career, because we can sprinkle that in throughout each point of our conversation, but just in those 4 years that you spent at Campbell, what was one of the most valuable lessons that you think you learned?
I think the most valuable lesson was respect, gaining respect for who you are, not the color of your skin. The second thing I think that was very important was the way that you wanted to be treated. Also, do the best you can in whatever you try, whether it be basketball, in your class, just walking around campus. Carry yourself to be respected and also respect others. Now, at Campbell, one of the things that I found that was very important for me is that our coach was a guy that was fair. And we were all treated the same, regardless of color, regardless of nationality. Everybody was treated the same, and I think that's very important. So probably throughout my life until now, I think the most important thing is the respect, do the best that you can, and try to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
Try to do the right thing and try to be with the right people, not getting being in the wrong crowds, being in the wrong group. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's the most important for me.
Right. And we see that now with some of these athletes, especially, they spend 1 year in college. Because back then, y'all could you go straight to?
Yes, you could.
You could make that jump then? Okay. So, but like I see now, a lot of these players, a lot of our young black men. Mm-hmm. So then they and a lot of the inner city or come from poor places, whatever. So then they make that jump from spending 1 year in college, which they don't really care about. They already know they're a lottery pick.
Right.
And then they getting this truckload of money dumped on them. And then it's those people that's around them, like familiar with the Ja Morant?
Yep.
Okay. So it's just the people that you have around you, just knowing as a younger person and getting that influence from the people around you, and they're actually encouraging you to do good things and not just be out there just being a yes man. I think that's what a lot of these kids have. They have yes men around them. They're not going to tell them, hey, bruh, that's stupid, because they feel like they're going to get cut from the entourage.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So that's always good. So after you spent your 4 years in, talk about like your career there as a basketball player. I don't want to go past that.
Okay. So at Campbell, as a freshman, I started already. And as of my sophomore year, I think you mentioned this in the beginning of this little interview that we're having, I was like district conference team almost every year. Luckily for me, and I guess I was blessed, I can say that, because I do believe in God. As I said, I grew up in the church. My senior year, one of my biggest accomplishments was being selected as the most outstanding athlete of the year at a predominantly white school. The female athlete of the year was a black girl. Her name was Barbara Fox, which was a great achievement for all the black kids of our university. Then I was also MVP from my college basketball team. We played in quite a few tournaments, and in the tournaments we played in, almost every tournament, I was either on the all-star team from the tournament or MVP of the tournament. So I was very blessed during my career. And even my senior year, when we played out at Kansas City, we finished second in the nation in NAIA.
Nice.
We were like a Cinderella team. We came in. The very first day, we beat a very good team, Lincoln Memorial. We played Arkansas State. We played some good teams, and I guess the last game we ran out of gas and we lost. But we were second in the nation in 1977, well, runner-ups, And that was also a great achievement. And I was selected to the All-Star team, of course, out in Kansas City in that tournament. I was also first team All-American, probably the first team. That sounds strange. I was the first team All-American at Campbell University in 1977 in basketball. And after we finished the season, I was selected also for the Harlem Globetrotters. But I enjoyed watching the Globetrotters, but I didn't want to play that type of basketball. I preferred to play basketball more in a competitive way. Okay. So I chose another route after college. Okay.
So we can just keep on going with that. So you decided not to play for the Harlem Globetrotters. I thought that was like one of the best facts up in out of the whole thing of looking through all your history and everything. But so what did you decide to do instead?
Okay, so as you know, especially now in the NBA, there are a lot of foreign players from all over. And even you got guys like Djokovic, who plays probably one of the best players in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not American.
Right.
But when I finished college, I had an opportunity to come play in Europe, Belgium. And I had never been out of the United States. I've traveled all over the United States, but I had never been out of the United States. And I said, this might be a great opportunity to go play professional ball in another country.
Right.
Also knowing that I had a tryout with the New Orleans Jazz, which is now the Utah Jazz, but at the time it was called New Orleans Jazz. And there was a guy named Pistol Pete Maravich that a lot of people probably know. His dad worked at our basketball camps and later became an associate coach at our school. And he said, if you'd like, you could go to Europe, play for a year, and come back, and we could probably get you on the team with the Jazz. So after college, and making a long story short, I went to Belgium. The first year I played on my team, we won the championship.
Right.
So this team asked me to come back, and so I said, okay, I'll come back one more year, and I'll come back to the States after that. So my second year, I met a lady, your future wife's mom.
Okay.
And we started dating. We started seeing each other. And then eventually we got married. And the years kept going by. So I stayed in Belgium. And finally, I don't regret anything. I have a beautiful daughter. Right. I have a beautiful granddaughter now. So my career didn't go exactly like it should, but if I had to start over, I would do exactly the same thing. Right. And I played professional basketball in Belgium for 20 years, giving me the opportunity to play against some players that I knew from college that were over there playing.
Right.
We played in what we call the European Cup, and I had a chance to play against players like Dino Radja that played for the Boston Celtics. I had the opportunity to play against Rick Mahorn that played for the Detroit Pistons. Right. You know, people that are about my age, of course. So it was a great experience because you get a chance to play teams from Italy, from Spain, from Yugoslavia at the time, but now that's ex-Yugoslavia because you have Croatia, you have Serbia, and all these different countries. Right. So that was a great experience. And I have also, through basketball, and I would say once again that I'm blessed, I've been to 35 different countries, and I don't think many people can say that.
Right. This is another fun fact about you. How many languages you speak?
I speak 3 languages.
3 languages. That's amazing. Hey, some people ain't even got English down yet. So.
Okay. I can tell you a joke about that. I went back to my college like just last week because as you know, I live in Belgium, and right. I've been here in the States visiting for 2 weeks now, and I was back at Campbell, and it was sort of strange because I got a phone call and I was speaking French, and one of my very close friends said, when you were in college, you could you could barely speak English, and now you're speaking all these languages.
Right.
So that's pretty funny.
That's good, though. Yeah. That's good. Did you have any role models or just mentors, influencers, whatever that helped you along the way that were very impactful? I know you said your mother was obviously one of them, but anybody else that?
Yes, of course. Okay, first of all, my first role model is my mom. That's my first role model. My second role model, I would say, would be my college coach, because my college coach was a guy. He just passed away in April, and everybody loved this coach. And I admired him because when I was recruited by Campbell, he said that he recruited, first of all, the person, the man, and then the athlete. And I like that. And that was also in my decision making for going to Campbell. And he was fair. And he was a coach at a predominantly white college, and we started 5 blacks. So that was also important. And one of my, I would say my third, if I had to count them and put them in line, my third role model, and the last one would be Charlie Scott. Charlie Scott was the first black player to receive a scholarship to an ACC school in North Carolina, University of North Carolina. They won the championship in 67 and 68. It was the first time that black players were allowed to play in the ACC, and he was one of the first black players. And he was my role model because, can you imagine him going to a predominantly white college, being maybe only among the few black people that were allowed to go to the school? And it must have been hard on him because if you read stories about Bill Russell and players that played back in the 60s, like Bill Russell at the Celtics, they would go on a road game, and the players on the team were not able to stay in the same hotel, not able to eat in the same restaurant, and they're NBA players.
That's crazy.
So that is crazy. So can you imagine a guy like Charlie Scott coming from Laurinburg Institute, which was a junior college, and then being able to go to University of North Carolina and play on that team and be the first black, and he is my role model.
Right. Trailblazer for you, like.
Exactly.
And that's great, because he showed you, like, hey, look what could be done. Look what I did it. You can do it too. You know what I mean? Just a role model as far as what I feel like some NBA players are not. There are some good ones out there. Like, I mean, still LeBron James, that man, you can't even think of anything wrong that he's done as far as his NBA career. So we need more of those, obviously. Do you have anything that you're still planning on doing? Do you still participate in the game of basketball, or is you're done with it, or how are you going along with that?
Okay, now by being retired, my main objective is trying to get back to the United States every year to see my daughter and grandbaby and you now.
Right.
That's my first objective. But I still do basketball camps.
Okay.
Because I enjoy teaching. It's not just giving the camp, it's teaching. And what I love the most is if I teach a kid something, because usually I run basketball camps. And the very first day, I always say, if you as campers, if you can learn one thing during the week and you can master that one thing, then I'm happy.
Right.
That's the goal. And what you learn, you will always have that and you will always know it. So that's very important for me. So I'm retired, but the next thing I do is, like, my wife and I, we get a chance to travel a lot because I've been involved in basketball since I was 13 years old.
Right.
And I promised my wife once I turned 60 that I wouldn't do basketball anymore. And now I'm a little bit over 60, so I'm still doing basketball camps, but she has her time too. So we've been able to take trips and do some things that we weren't able to do during my basketball career.
Well deserved. Well, man, you got anything else for the people to watch the FO show or anything?
No, I would just say that I've been following Mr. Antoine Forrest. doing his A1 talk and A1 from day one, as he said. That's his motto. And if you get a chance, you need to check that out. He has some interesting programs. He's talking about different subjects, and he just throws it out there, and it's on the table. And anybody that want to listen or jump in, they're always welcome. So I appreciate you, man, for what you're doing, and I wish you much success in what you're doing.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. And I appreciate you also.
Right.
All right. And if nothing else, thanks for listening to the FO Show. Peace out.